Okay, so since my last video of the Smith store incident, I posted on a rant and rave page about it because literally I contacted corporate. Corporate said no, the manager, the assistant manager, the cashiers were all wrong. They were dead wrong, and that the policy does not exist. Well, I posted it, and I'm getting a lot of weird feedback on this, and it's like people are like, yeah, I carry in there all the time. I ride my motorcycle. They've never said anything about my helmet. They've never said anything about me carrying inside when I'm wearing my helmet. Like when I was there, 3 people were in the checkout area. Like when you walk into the store, there's the self checkout area right inside the door, and then they have these 2 podiums, one at the door, and then one's like about 5-6 feet away, facing the other way, and that's where the employee stands. Well, I walked past all of that, went to the Coinstar. The cashier freaked out and apparently called security and other employees because she was scared. She was scared of these. These made her scared because, he's got a gun on his hip and he's wearing a helmet. Well, like I posted on my last video, there was no helmet. He said in a note that he had a helmet. He didn't actually have one. Well, I'm getting all these people like, don't open carry because it makes you a target. It's like, I don't fucking care. I'm not a target. Oh, somebody robbed a gas station and, they shot up the place. Well, yeah, okay, yeah. But you see all these stories about people, shooting up gas stations, but nobody's ever armed. You hear about all the people that, robber was stopped by an armed citizen. That's because the armed citizen had a gun. You don't see stories of gunmen walked in, saw the person was armed, and decided to pull out their gun anyways. You don't see that shit. But it's like, these people are insane. Like, this guy, you're on private property. That gives them the right to impose certain policies. You're a paranoid dumbass. That's literally what it says. Well, sorry, buddy, but corporate outranks a cashier. Corporate literally said that this rule or this policy does not exist and cannot be enforced. You cannot make up a rule on the spot and say this is policy. You can't. The manager has to have it in writing and has to have it okayed through corporate. That way corporate can back the decision. You can't just make up a rule and say that it's store policy or corporate policy without it having any kind of paperwork on it. If there's no rule written, then no rule can be enforced. That's per Smith's Food and Drug Groceries, policy. If it's not a written policy or a written rule, or it's not in their regulations, it cannot be enforced. If no sign is posted, the management and the employees cannot enforce it. It has to be written. It has to be shown. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. Because then any cashier can say, sorry, no black people allowed. Or, sorry, we don't take dollar bills. We can only take 5s and 10s. They can make up any rule they want. And then they can say, corporate said it. This is a corporate rule. Corporate did this. Corporate made the rule. You're putting the blame on corporate, and then corporate becomes liable. If you're a franchise store, you can't just make up a rule for yourself. You have to get approval from corporate. Another one on here. Let's see. I carry all the time in there. I was just in there yesterday with my helmet on. Nobody said anything. And then you get to these weird ones like, so why not just take the helmet off and go about shopping? That would have been the simple response and not carry on about it. This bitch didn't even fucking listen. She didn't even read the post. I literally say in the post that they told me to take off my helmet, and I did. She literally just, whatever, I don't care. I'm just gonna make up my own story here. And people are correcting on it, and she's like, I don't understand why you can't just do the simple thing and choose your battles. Like, just take the helmet off and go about your day. No need to continue making it worst. Just choose battles. I get that it's your right to carry it, but if they just ask you that you remove the helmet and you go about your day, then why not just take the stupid helmet off? And it's like, I did take the fucking helmet off. I say it in the post. I say it in like 10 comments here. But, I mean, people are fucking illiterate. It's like, if I say, yeah, they told me to take off my helmet, and I take off my helmet, and then I ask them, well, when was this put in place? And the assistant manager goes, fuck off. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, they told me to take off the helmet, I took it off, and then the employees, escalated it to where they were swearing at me and getting in my face. It's not like I started screaming and throwing shit around, because that's not what I do. I mean, I have my visor up, my eyes, my face is visible. You could see all that's covered is like my mouth, and they're like, well, you have to take it off because we can't see your face. And I go, well, what if I was wearing a mask? And he goes, well, a mask is fine. But a mask covers your face just like a helmet does, and all you'd see is my eyes anyways. Well, that's different because it's a mask and it's not a helmet. Well, the helmet just scared the girl. The whole thing is a helmet scared the girl because she read it in a note. She read it in a note in October of last year. I've been in and out of that store 2-3 times a week since October, wearing a helmet and my gun, and nobody said anything. It makes no sense at all. It like, people are just commenting. What the hell? Good Lord! And it's like, that fucking manager saying, the assistant manager saying, well, it's a federal law that motorcycle riders can't own guns and can't ride carrying guns. What? Who? What? That makes what? That's just bullshit. There is no federal law that says motorcycle riders can't own guns. And it's like, then I get to this lady. Let's be sensible and take off your damn helmet. If you're going to open carry, I believe you have the right to. But come on. And I told her, let's be really sensible and not let an assistant manager make up rules because he's anti-gun. This guy literally said that he doesn't believe people should own guns at all. I mean, that's his personal belief, not the store's. The store and corporate back gun owners. Corporate literally says so. And then it's like, believe me, I'm all about rights and believe that your helmet absolutely right to appreciate you and blah, 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 blah. But in today's society, let's give the guy a break. No. I'm not going to give somebody a break when they are going above their boss's head and making up their own rule on the fly. I mean, imagine walking into a store and a manager telling you, you can't wear red shoes in here because I don't like red shoes. It's not company policy. It's not corporate policy. It's that one employee or that one manager that's making up a rule on the fly because they don't like something. You can't impose a rule like that. I know there's going to be some ass clown out there that says it's a private business and they have a right to refuse service. Yeah, they do. But that has to do with corporate policy again. You have a right to refuse service to somebody, but if you go above corporate's decision saying, I'm going to ban this person for this one thing, even though that thing is not against the rules, then you're opening up it for a corporate lawsuit where they'll lose hundreds of millions and your ass is going to be fired. And you'll be banned from the store forever. I mean, imagine it. Imagine a world where the cashiers can just make up rules on the fly as they go. Oh, I don't like this person because they're my ex or they're my neighbor, so I'm going to ban them from the store because I don't like, what this or that. It's ridiculous. I mean, this lady's even like saying, you're a retard, you're mental, you need to seek help, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, I do know what I'm talking about. I do. I know what I'm talking about because I literally study this stuff. Yeah, it actually makes you look foolish for going and getting so damn uptight over others' rights, not just your right. There are a lot of others in that store, dude, and I wouldn't feel safe as a cashier with you, who obviously seem hostile, carrying a gun. Yeah, I'm hostile carrying a gun with a giant fucking rabbit head. And waving at children. I'm hostile. Says the woman who said she'd beat my ass if she saw me in public. Who's hostile? The person who's just shopping and carrying on, making people smile, or the person who's saying that everybody's a retard and everybody's stupid and that you'd beat them up if you saw them in public? Yeah, that makes no sense. And corporate has my back on this. Corporate says that these employees, these managers, all broke rules and went against policy to kick me out because an employee was upset. My rights and corporate policy don't get trampled because your feelings are hurt. Corporate says I can carry a gun. Corporate says has no rules against helmets. They've got no rules whatsoever about it. But according to a cashier and an assistant manager who hates gun owners, apparently they can go above that rule. Corporate's already opened up an investigation into it. Corporate's already told me that I'm free to go to that store as much as I want because I broke no rules, I broke no regulations, there's no policy in place that is enforceable. But I still have people saying, well, it's the store can tell you what to do. The store, they have a right to kick you out. Well, yeah, within reason. If I walk in and I'm being belligerent or I'm being rude to the customers or I'm being rude to the employees, that's one thing. But if I walk in and I'm just wearing a helmet and a firearm and I'm there to go to the ATM or I'm there to pick up some soup, they can't deny me service just because they don't like the way I look. Because then they're committing all kinds of, civil rights violations and constitutional violations. It's just ridiculous. Oh, and this lady's just it's funny. Oh, you got people. You're only reflecting you, sir. You are the one having a temper tantrum, looking to get your ego stroked. Such a sad and angry little man with a gun and a chip on his shoulder. Not a good mix. Hope it all works out for you and you prove everybody is wrong and you are right. Corporate already said I'm right. Corporate is already dealing with the matter. And people are like, I don't care what corporate says because I back the employee. I back the cashier who's as scared of people. Okay, you live in Arizona, a constitutional carry state, and there's tons of people that ride motorcycles. We have a yearly rally of motorcycle riders who are all gun owners. And it's like, oh man, it's oh, that's funny. I mean, people make me laugh. I mean, oh, it's hilarious. I mean, to openly say that corporate is wrong about their own rules because you're backing a cashier. I mean, that's funny. I mean, I already showed you guys the police call that showed up on our group page. I mean, the guy didn't have a gun. He didn't even have a helmet. All he was wearing was a mask, and he slipped her a freaking note that he had crumpled in his hand. I mean, the guy wasn't even wearing gloves. It's like he showed up on a scooter. And they're like, well, now we fear all motorcycle riders except for, these certain ones and the employee that can walk into the store with a helmet on and a gun on his hip. But, whatever. But I digress. It's just freaking ridiculous.